سأستغفر لك ربي إنه كان بي حفيا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها. والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها. فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
محمد وعلى محمد صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm just going to perform a little bit of English poetry. Sheikh was speaking yesterday about trying to use our art to spread the message of Imam Hussein, so I appreciate your tolerance. English is a hard language to write, some sort of poetry in, so please bear with me. A 4-year-old held tightly to your clothes, and she cried, "Daddy, don't, please, why can't you stay? I won't feel safe if you're not here. Please hold me one more time before you go away. You're too young to understand. Hussein was killed by evil men. He won't be coming back again. I'm sorry, Ruqayya. Very soon you'll realize your great-grandfather heard your cries. He wants to meet you, dry your eyes. We'll miss you, Ruqayya. You're too young to understand. Hussein was killed by evil men. He won't be coming back again. I'm sorry, Ruqayya. Very soon you'll realize your great-grandfather heard your cries. He wants to meet you, dry your eyes. We'll miss you, Ruqayya. In the palace of Yazid, she gave her famous speech. You must think you've won, but you're wrong. See my brother, he was strong, and his message will live on. But you, Yazid, will be history, cursed by everyone for eternity. See my brother, he was strong, and his message will live on. But you, Yazid, will be history, cursed by everyone for eternity. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. کہتی تھی یہ ماں خون بھری میں یاد سے لپٹ کر، ہے علی اکبر، ہے علی اکبر. ارمان تھا پہناؤں گی پوشاک شہانی، افسوس کہ رسائی نہ تجھ کو یہ جوانی، کیسا تھا مقدر، ہے علی اکبر، ہے علی اکبر. اتنا تو ذرا ٹھہر تمہیں دولہا بنا لوں، بس ایک جھلک سحر کی صغرا کو دکھا لوں. بے چین تھی خواہر، ہے علی اکبر. 18 برس پال کے پیوان چڑھایا، وہ گیسو والا ہے میرا خون میں نہایا. یہ کیا ہوا دل بر، ہے علی اکبر. 18 برس پال کے پیوان چڑھایا، وہ گیسو والا ہے میرا خون میں نہایا. یہ کیا ہوا دل بر، ہے علی اکبر. ماں تیری جدائی میں بھلا کیسے جیے گی، عمر جائے گی صغرا جو خبر تیری سنے گی. اب کیا کروں جی کے، ہے علی اکبر. پہلے تو ایک آواز پٹ جاتے تھے بیٹا، اب اتنی صداؤں کی بھی پہلو نہیں بدلا. کیا ہو گیا دل بر، ہے علی اکبر. تم ہیج کیا لے کے جو دام توڑ رہے ہو، تم ہیج کیا لے کے جو دام توڑ رہے ہو، موما سے ہمیشہ کے لیے موڑ رہے ہو. کیوں روٹے ہو دل بر، ہے علی اکبر. آئے جو ہمیں لوٹنے خیمے میں ستم گئے، ماں دے گی صدا علی اکبر، علی اکبر. چھن جائے گی چادر، ہے علی اکبر. کہتی تھی ماں خون بھری میں یاد سے لپٹ کے، ہے علی اکبر. salawat. Salam, brothers and sisters. Can we get another last salawat for all that beautiful recitation for both poetries and Quran? Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Before I let Moulana Baig continue with this lecture, I just want to thank him on behalf of the boards and the community for coming out this evening, for coming out this weekend. Inshallah, we'll have many more weekends where we can invite him. Please help him start with the loud salawat.
Surah Al-Fatiha. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفدا. The ayat that I recited for you, in which Allah is saying that لَكِنَّ اللَّهَ حَبَّبَ إِلَيْكُمُ الْإِيمَانِ وَزَيَّنَهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. It is saying that Allah has made faith lovable, endearing. وَزَيَّنَهُ, and He has made it attractive in your hearts. So faith and Islam and the deen, the religion that comes from Allah, is attractive and it is endearing. And because of the fact that Allah Himself is beautiful, Allah's name is Jameel. He is beautiful. And in the hadith of the Prophet and the Imams, it has come that Allahu Jameel wa yuhibbul Jamal. That Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. He loves beautiful things. In other words, whatever comes from Allah, whatever emanates from Allah is beautiful. It is attractive. It cannot be unpleasant. It cannot be something that we detest or abhor. Otherwise, if it is something that we detest, then naturally we will not be inclined towards it. And we are the creation of Allah, and we are naturally inclined towards beauty, and hence Allah has put the sense of beauty in our fitrat, in our nature. Allah has put the sense of beauty inside of us. Now, it is up to us whether we use it or not, whether we actually live by the sense of beauty or not. You see, people have logic. It's up to them whether they use it or not. A person can choose not to use logic and to destroy logic that's within him and in his mind by prejudice. He can do that. Just like that, beauty is something that you can, it is there inside of you. Now you can use it. If you use it, then yes, it will make you reach things at a higher level. And if you don't use it, then you might reach there, but you won't reach there at a higher level. You'll reach there at a lower level. In other words, Islam is not some absolute thing. It has many degrees. And a person who wants to go to the higher levels of a human being and a higher levels of perfection has to go through that through his sense of beauty, not his sense of obligation or responsibility. A person who does things because of his obligations or that it's my responsibility to do it, you will see that he will never gain the passion that is gotten from those things. For example, you see people go for ziyarat. They go to ziyarat. The only excitement that they got is that they left their home and their job and they went for a vacation. For them, if you ask them how was ziyarat, they'll be like, oh, it was great. So, why was it great? What did he do there? Oh, it's amazing, alhamdulillah, subhanallah. Why? What happened? If you actually look deeply into it, he's just that trip. The ziyarah trip was good because he wasn't doing his regular chores. He took time off from work, and because he didn't have to worry about it for a week or 2 weeks, it gave him a sense of peace. He could have gotten it for much less if he had just gone to Hawaii. Right? That sort of peace is the same if you go to Hawaii, because he never understood the beauty of where he's going. He never understood that. He didn't go there to find beauty or to seek beauty. He went there because, well, this is what everyone does, and we go there and I want to feel something that I don't feel, and yes, you felt it. If you stay away from work for a couple of weeks, you'll feel good also. Right. This is the way it is. And hence many people do not take things at a higher level because they don't approach it from the sense of beauty that is inside of them. And that's what we are discussing right now. Now, if Allah is beautiful, and we have the sense of beauty, so naturally we're inclined towards Allah. We appreciate God. I'm talking about human beings. I'm not talking about believers or Muslims. I'm talking about human beings appreciate God because they see God's creation, and you know what? They appreciate it. You ask any person on the streets, what do you say about God and His creation, this and that? I say, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's there. You appreciate it. You appreciate an artist, just like you appreciate, for example, a good artwork or a good architecture. You will see that and say, wow, that's good. That looks good. You will do that. But there are some people who actually see it and see beauty and are able to take that beauty that they saw and bring it out to the people and let the people know about it. That sort of a person is called an artist. And that quality of being able to do that is called art. And what we are discussing is, why is art not just something that is encouraged in Islam, but actually necessary? Friends, it's not an elective. It's a requirement. In the world we take it as an elective. In Islam, Allah is saying this is a requirement. Because when you became a Muslim, and you made a pact with me that you will serve me, and then I will serve you. So now it's our job to serve Allah. In order to serve Allah, we need to now do what? It's not just prayers and fasting that Allah is asking for. What He's asking for is that, did you see the beauty in this? Now go and let the world know about it. This is what we need to do. My friends, really, ask yourself the question, is Imam Ali beautiful? If Imam Ali is not beautiful, if he doesn't bring about passion in you, if he doesn't arouse emotions inside of you, then it's better not to talk about him. Because when you talk about something that you're not passionate about, it just comes off wrong. It comes off dry and boring. And no one wants to, listen to it. It comes off as routine, habitual. Okay, you're just saying this. But if you are passionate about something and you do talk about it, you see it just comes off and rubs off on other people, and other people get excited just by listening to you talk about it. And that's what we need to decide. When Allah gave Islam to us, He gave it as beautiful. It is exciting. It is precious. And it is something that, wow, you're wowed by it. This is how Allah gave Islam to us. Now, what do we have to do with that? We have to take something that is already beautiful and make people understand its beauty and attract them towards it. So, our job is not hard. Really, Allah made it easy for us that you are actually selling something good. That you're offering something that's attractive. You know? I mean, really, when you, for example, are a salesman and you want to do sales, really, how much of the confidence that you have in your sales depends on how good the product is. You see, if the product that you're selling is bogus, then obviously, you gotta act and pretend. This doesn't work, right? And you gotta be a good, really lie in order to let people know that. But if the product is good, half of the confidence just comes from there. Hey, the product is good, right? And hence you don't have to worry about it. But when the product is bad, then you see there's a shame in trying to sell things, and it's going to come off as shameful. It's like, trying to sell a T-Mobile to someone, I say that because I have it, And then I tell these people, how can you sell this, man? With a straight face, And so what happens is that you feel bad when you sell these things because it really is bad. Service is bad. It's just, a bad... And so what happens is that you really have to be a good salesman then in order to take this and give it to others. Allah made it easy for us by saying that Islam is beautiful. Islam is attractive. You don't have to do a lot to sell Imam Ali. You don't have to do a lot to make Imam Hussein look appealing. He's already attractive. He's already beautiful. So your job, Allah made easy for you. And sometimes we need to look at those people who take something that is ugly and make that look beautiful. Then you're like, wow, these people, they're dedicated. They're dedicated. They take something that is god-awful ugly, that, you wouldn't get near that if you saw the real picture, but they hype it up. They make it out to you in such a way that you look at that thing and you're like, really? It sounds interesting. My friends, see how it works. When you look at dunya, life of this world, right? And anything that has to do with it, and we all know it because we all live it. We all are a part of it. It's really not that attractive. Right? It's really not that attractive. How ugly is it? At the first of the month when you have to pay bills. Really, one of the attractive things about Jannat, Allah is saying, is that no bills. No tax. There you go. So what happened is that this is one of the things that will make a person detest dunya, right? Running after it for what? Look at what happens when you run after it and all these things. It doesn't let up. You're not let go. Look at what happened. It never leaves you. You are a prisoner. And whatever. You can go on with it. But you see the people who want you to come to the dunya and who want to sell dunya to you, imagine how good of a job they do. When they hype up this dunya, they do an excellent job of bringing out something that is not so attractive, unsellable, and make it sellable to you, make it attractive to you. You really have to then look at those people and say, wow, you guys are good. You guys are really good. When you take something unattractive and make it so appealing. And we take something that is beautiful, attractive, something that is exciting, and we make that boring. Now I want you to see really who is a good artist. Imam Ali alayhi salam has said this, that I really, when you look at my soldiers and Muawiyah's soldiers, I'd rather have Muawiyah's soldiers than my soldiers. You know? Because look at those guys, man. They take Muawiyah seriously. And you don't even take me seriously. What does that mean? That these people are better. If they just had a better product to sell, they would have done a great job. They have the quality of a believer, but they're not, because what they're selling is wrong. You don't have the quality of a believer, but what you're selling is right. But when you do sell it, you make me look bad in front of others. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he said this. He says, Kunu zinatan lana. He says, be a source of ornament for us. Be a source of beauty for us. Make us look good. You don't have to try hard. We're already good. He says that just don't make us look bad. Just don't make us look bad. Really, that's all we're asking you to do. Right? Not giving you a hard time. But here we go. When you see mu'mineen depict Islam and depict the Imams, you see them coming off, and whatever comes off as a product of what they think of the Imam and what the Imamat is and what Ahlul Bayt or what Islam is, comes off so shabby and so boring and so dry that even a person who might be interested loses interest. He loses interest in that. So what should we do at that time? Look at yourself and say, listen, maybe I do believe in Ahlul Bayt. I see the beauty in them. Maybe I'm not a good artist. Maybe I'm not good. Let someone who knows how to present it to others give it. Maybe that will help. Maybe I can improve myself. I can improve myself and I can make myself such that I can actually depict Ahlul Bayt in a proper manner. My friends, this is where our responsibility comes in and why art is so important. If you are not an artist, if you don't know art, then you should not be trying to propagate Islam. You should not be trying to give the message of Ahlul Bayt to others, because you will just make the message look bad. I told you, for example, we have these, for example, many times we go out and we also do dawah. You know, it's not that the other Muslims do dawah. We also do dawah, you know. But the only day that we do dawah is the first Sunday of Muharram. Some places, right? Where, for example, they all decide that this is a day we're going to go out with our deen, you know. Until now we were inside. Let's take it all out to the streets, you know. And so they take it out on the streets and they call it a julus, a procession for Muharram and Ashura. Right? And they do call it that. So when you go out there on the streets and doing that, so now you wonder, so what's going on here? What's going on here? I don't know if you have an Ashura procession, I don't even know that, right? But some cities do have it, so I can't say about here, right? But if you have ever gone to those places, right, you see that it's a ball of anarchy, anarchy coming down the road. You know? It's like, for example, this whole group that's coming down that is not synchronized at all, not organized at all, just a ball of disorganized energy that's coming down like the Tasmanian devil. And you're like wondering, what's going on here? And it's just like, you know, no one knows. It's just like is this who we are? Is this how we are showing Ahlul Bayt to the world? What are they understanding from this? What are they getting from this? Maybe we need to step back and say, hey, wait a minute, we can do this better. We can do this a lot better, that we can actually make the people see who Ahlul Bayt actually are. That they can get attracted to them. That's all Ahlul Bayt are asking. That's all Allah is asking from us. So this is the first point. Let's go on with this. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. You know, a lot of times when you see this, right, when you look at art, and we want to be artists, Allah is saying, propagate my deen. In order to give this deen and Ahlul Bayt to the people, you have to have the sense of art in you. Meaning bringing out the beauty and showing it to the world. That's what you need to be, an artist. And it's one of the things that's misunderstood about art is that, yes, on one side, the so-called artists and the experts on art, what they do to art is that they restrict it to whatever they think art is. Right? They're restricted to whatever they think art is. Meaning that this is art of this is art of that. And if we say that, wait a minute, that's not just the only art. The whole idea of art is to take beauty wherever it is, bring it out and show it to the people. It could happen in any form and shape. But then, you know, obviously they said, no, you know, that's not art. What we do is art. Why is that? Because we have museums and you don't, you know. So it ends up as that. Is that this is the wrong way of doing it. So don't mind them. Art, my friends, is anything. And this is why we don't appreciate art, because we don't see things artistically. We don't see things through the sense of beauty that Allah has given in our nature. Because we don't see things through that, we really try restrict art. You cannot put limits on art. Allah did not put limits on art. Did you know that? Allah says art is free. As an artist, you are free. Why? Because art serves beauty. And I am beautiful. I am beauty. And hence, at the end, an artist serves me. An artist serves me because I am the source of beauty. If he's an artist. My friends, this is the idea behind art. That we get that quality and increase it in us in order that we can go and bring out the beauty that's hidden inside everything in the world. And bring it out and give it to the world so everyone gets attracted to it. But you can't restrict it. You see, for example, you can't put a time on it. For example, maybe, you know, I mean, there are some great speakers who have made speaking into a form of art. You know, they are really artistic, they are really talented, and when they speak, it's like, for example, art flowing out. Great stuff, you know. This is what happens. They have the quality. They have that talent in them that they can do that. And this is why it's so important that we can't restrict it. You see, for example, you can't tell an artist, listen, you know, I need the artwork done, your masterpiece done by 8 p.m. on Friday. You're like, what's that? You know, that's the deadline for your artwork. You know, you can't put a deadline on art. It doesn't work like that. It has to be given its freedom. It has to be given its free will so that it can come out. You see, like you go to many masjids and centers, you say, yeah, inshallah, you know, speaking time 8 to 8:45, no more than 8:45, you know. Have it right then, finish, that's it. You know. And now obviously, you know, some Mulanas like me are just like shabby and we just say things, you know, and okay, 8:45, that's it, we end, you know. But some people are really good. And they are really talented and they bring it out really nicely, and you know, you can't just limit them. You got to let it go. Something great is coming out of them. Something amazing is coming out of them. You can't stop that. If you stop that, it will never come out. You know the feeling that you have is the feeling that Abdullah ibn Abbas had when the Prophet said, you know what, I want to write for you something. Give me a pen and paper. I want to write for you something. And you know what? People said, no, we don't need it. No, we don't need it. And Abdullah ibn Abbas said, you know, I felt like choked. I said, you don't know what was going to come out. It might be this amazing thing that comes out that we will miss, and now we will never have it. Imagine that, my friends. You can't restrict art. So that's second point. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Now, the third point regarding this, right? And again, I just want to mention these points to you regarding art because it is so essential for us as a mu'min, as a Shia. Without it, really, your idea of going to Imam Hussein is cut short. Because everyone, the quality that made the people in Karbala with Imam Hussein reach Karbala, look at it. What quality made them reach there? Were they Shia of Imam Hussein? Did you know that a lot of them were not even Shia of Imam Hussein? Like, what do you mean? They were not Shias, and they reached there? Yes. They're not Shia. Zuhair ibn Qayn, who was he? Was he a Shia of Imam Hussein? No. He was a Shia of Uthman. He was a follower of Uthman all his life. He was in his party. So what quality brought Zuhair under the umbrella of Imam Hussein? What quality that he had inside of him, or all the other companions who came from different backgrounds, what is it that brought them inside of this umbrella? Were they, for example, religious? No, we don't see many of them were not religious. Were they, for example, muttaqi? No, a lot of them were not muttaqi. Right? So what was it? What was the thing that brought all of these people to Imam Hussein? And friends, then you'll understand that one of those qualities that they all shared in, one of the things that they all shared in is that they were all artists. They had a high sense of beauty. They all had it. Every one of them, you see, every time they did something, they didn't just do it, they did it the best way possible. You see how an artist thinks? This is the moment's character, right? Because it is said, right? I mentioned the hadith for you yesterday. Right? For example, that making yourself beautiful is from the akhlaq of the believers. That's the hadith. I just want to keep that in mind, so when I speak, you shouldn't be saying that, where does he bring this thing from? Right? Making yourself beautiful and making anything that you do look perfect and look more beautiful than what it is the sign and the way of a believer. That's what he does. Anything that he does, he wants to make it better. He wants to make it good. This is the attitude that a mu'min has. He never settles for being mediocre. He never settles for being, whatever, we did it, let's leave it be. No. I think we can make it better. I think we can improve this. I think we can do this. This is the attitude, my friend. This is an artist. This is someone who has a high sense of beauty. When he has a high sense of beauty, it leads him to perfection. It leads him to make himself the best that he can be and to make the best choices in his life. And since if you make the best choices in his life, and if you can go on making those good choices, the better choices and the best choices, eventually you are going to reach Karbala. That's how you reach Karbala, my friends. By making those great choices. But if in all your life you have always settled for less and being mediocre, you're not going to be with Imam Hussein. You're not going to hang out with Imam Hussein in Karbala. That is meant for special people. And that's why we need to go after the sense of beauty that we have, increase it, improve it, and say, I want to make myself the best. It starts from yourself. How you dress, how you wear your things, how you go around, how your house is, how your car is, how the masjid is, how the center is. Cleaning the center is not just the job of those who are organizing it. If this center belongs to the imam of the time, then it is my and your job to clean up something that we see as bad. Because my responsibility is to show Ahlul Bayt in the best light. And if this cup that's lying down in the parking lot is making Ahlul Bayt look bad, then my job is to clean that cup and make it look good. It's my job. It's not anyone else's job. And that's why we need to now understand Islam in this fashion. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So my friends, the first thing that you need in order to be an artist is that you need to know how to recognize beauty. How do you view things? I'm going to make it short because we really don't have that much time. How do you view things? How do you look at things? It's very important. Are you using your sense of beauty that whenever you look at something, you look at it in the best way possible? Because have you noticed an artist? Ever notice when you'll see this, right? We are like, for example, in this room. I can sit in this room and I will see certain things in this room, right? For example, the chandeliers, I'll see, for example, the clock over here or the clock over there. And they're big ones to make sure that the Moulana doesn't lose his sight of that. So I appreciate that. And there's nothing wrong with it. But the point is that I look at certain things, not everything, right? I looked at the chandeliers and this and that. But an artist, right, when he looks at it, not only is looking at the chandeliers, he sees that one of the light is missing in the chandelier up here. He sees that. He sees that this is this way. He notices so many smaller things that people don't notice. Why? Because he is so meticulous. He looks at details. My friends, in order to be a mu'min with Imam Hussain, you have to look at details. You have to be observant in everything that we do in life. These are qualities that are getting you to Imam Hussain. You got to be someone who is like looking at details, always paying attention to the smallest, finest print, in making sure that I can change things from there onwards. Make it better from there onwards. This is the quality that we need to have. Being observant, knowing beauty when we see it, and recognizing it all the way through. The first thing that happens, how do we view things? Let me give certain examples so you understand what I'm saying, and then you can apply it everywhere in your life. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. What is your view of retirement? Getting old, retiring from work. It's coming for a lot of people. It's already there for some. Right? It's already there for some, What's your idea of old age? In one mosque we went to, all the old people were, sat on chairs in one side, like in groups of fours, right? 4 chairs going back. Now this is, normal, right? People are sitting here like this in the back. But this was a aisle of 4 chairs going back, right? In the center, and you know what? And all the old people were brought there and sat over there, and all the young people were on the other side, and so it really looked like, and that was called the departure lounge. So you grow up and you get there, and from there, farewell, bon voyage, and you go, that's it, it's over, So what is your view of old age, let's say? Just your view. Just how do you look at it? What's your view of marriage? Of a relationship? What is your overall view? I mean, no one has to teach you. You don't have to read some hadith also. Please don't do that to hadith, Read some hadith and say, well, this is what Imam said. No, what do you say? What is your view, I'm saying? Just how do you look at these things? What's your view of childhood? See, each of these things, how you view it is what's deciding what sort of a person are you. Are you a person who looks at beauty, or are you a person who looks at ugliness and cannot recognize beauty? You see that. A guy came to the masjid with an expensive sport car. I can't remember, Ferrari or something, He brought it. It's an expensive one, I don't know, $100,000 car or more than that, I assume. I don't know the prices. My son knows it more than me. So he came up there and this and that in the car. And so, we were after. He wasn't even there in the conversation, this and that. So someone just made a remark, well, you see these people driving $100,000 cars over here. Okay, so, what's that? Oh, they must be up to something. He says, what are you talking about? They must be up to something. Right? And you know where this is going. Right? And whenever they say that, you know they're up to something. You know this sentence never ends well. Right? And obviously it didn't well end now. You know, obviously this guy must be doing something haram, you know, that he's earning this much money. I said, bro, do you know that for a fact? Even if you know that for a fact, there are ways to deal with it, not what you're doing. And he said, no, of course, I don't know the fact, this and that, but there you go, that's the end of the story, you don't know. Why are you even dwelling into it? Why are you even looking at it like that? Why are you even thinking like that? This negative thinking is depicting who you are as a person. Can't you just see the beauty of a person? Can't you notice the fact that he came to the masjid? Right? Didn't you notice that? Why didn't you notice that? You see, my friends, this is when we improve our sense of beauty, how we start looking at things. We start becoming positive. We look at the positive side of things. Hey, why are we saying this? Why are we doing this? Always like that. Why? Because you are seeing the beauty first. SubhanAllah, how much can I say it, my friends? Imam Hussein never stopped looking for the beauty in those who came to kill him until the end. He never stopped looking for it. He was searching for it. He was looking for it. He's trying to take it out of them. Somewhere there might be some beauty that's hidden inside of you. I want to take it out. And if Hussein tried to take it out and it didn't come out, then you must be some ugly people. Right? Really, my friends, he wasn't like, for example, oh, you know what, all of these people are cursed and that's it. No, even at the end. Let me say something here, right? Interject and say something. You know, Hazrat Abbas, you know, his role in Karbala is astonishing, right? And Hazrat Abbas, right, when he was left, no one else was left. He came to Imam Hussein, asked him for the permission to battle. Imam Hussein said some water and all these things. You know the story, right? But did you know that Hazrat Abbas asked Imam Hussein for permission to give a speech? He asked Imam Hussein, allow me to speak to these people. There's no harm in that. I'm going to do my hujjah. Do you imagine that the boss is known as courageous, brave? He's not afraid of the army or anything like that, right? We know that. I mean, the youth of Bani Hashim were his students. You know, they learned courage from Abbas. So now when Abbas went out there to speak, you know what he spoke about? When he spoke about, he said that this man who's here is willing to forego everything that you have done to him. Everything. He's willing to let go of all of that. You killed his children, he's saying, it's okay. I'm letting you go. Imagine that. Look at that. Abbas is saying this to the people. Can you imagine that? And here you see that Abbas is looking for something beautiful in them. I want to see if there's anything in you left. Is there anything left in you? Imagine that. How much hope did they have in these people? That until the end, when there's no hope at all, they still had hope. This is an attitude that they are portraying to us. What does it mean? The sense of beauty is very high in them. Looking for beauty, looking for the best thing possible. They're looking for it. This is the attitude of a mu'min who is going towards Karbala. This is the attitude. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. You know, a lot of these times, for example, you know, people, how you view death. You know, the world, it portrays death in the most horrible fashion. That if you see and listen to or even experience how people portray death, you would never be attracted towards it. If you looked at all the movies that they make about death, or the books that they write about death, you know how death is written or portrayed? Look at all the movies regarding death. You know, you're always in some desolate land, as if you're, in jail in Arizona. And you go there, it's all like desert land, nothing growing. And they show you this thing, that this is death, and this is life after death. When you look at that life after death, the whole idea of that, you're like, I don't want to go there. Are you attracted to going there? Man, I can't wait till I reach there. Is that being aroused in you, that passion of wanting to go in that place? No, right? It's not being aroused. They never portray death as something that a person would be attracted to. They never portray that. And if they are doing a disservice of making people run away from death, you see, some people who get on the minbar also are doing the same thing. I mean, if you look at the way that they portray death, that you're going to get, molten lead poured in your ears. Or, this thing and that thing, which is all there, my friend. I'm not saying it's not there, but I'm saying that when you are giving that picture of death, tell me, how many of you are saying, Alhamdulillah, I can't wait till I get there? It's not an advertisement for Disney, right? Where you want to spend your money to get there. All fun and excitement, this and that. Whoa, death is always portrayed like, why? Why is death portrayed like that? Didn't Allah make death? So when Allah made it, isn't it supposed to be beautiful? You know how Allah speaks about death? You know how Allah and Ahlul Bayt speak about death? This is how Allah says. You know what is death? This idea. What's your idea about death? Allah is teaching you this way. Just look at it this way, He's saying. Just look at it this way. He says, do you want to be with me? He's asking, do you want to be with me? Are you my friend? You want to be with me? With all the things I'm going to give you? And all the blessings I'm going to shower you with? You want to come with me? Be with me? Answer the question. Yes? Okay, good, yes. You say, yes, yes Allah, I want to be with you. He says, then you have to go through this door called death in order to be with me. Now you know what happens? If a person sees that, if that's the way that I get to Allah, then you know what? I will face 1,000 deaths. I'll go through 1,000 doors of death because I want to get there. How do you view things? Salawat ala Muhammad. Subhanallah. Allahumma sallam. My friends, how do people view work? Just work, labor, normal work that you go to, 9 to 5. How do you view it? What is your view about it? It pays the bills. Wow, that's it? Just pays the bills? That's the attraction of work. And it's true, because at workplaces you'll see, that's the attitude of, I would say, all the people. Right? Man, if it wasn't for the bills, I wouldn't be working. If I had money, I wouldn't be working, That's it. And that's what happens. When a person, for example, wins the lottery, what's the first thing he does? There you go. So to him, work is a burden, and he hates it, and he doesn't want it at all. And the only reason he's doing it is because he needs the money to pay the rent, which is kind of high in San Jose. So what happens is that he needs that work, so he's going on with it, he's tolerating it. This is a horrible way of living a life. It's like miserable, it leads to misery, frustration. Why am I working? Why am I working? Really, most of your life you're spending in something that is causing you misery and stress. Because our view of work is so bad. It's so ugly. We are seeing the ugly, the most unwanted, the dry side of it. What should we look at? I mean, this is, I heard this statement from Ayatollah Khamenei. That's why I'll mention it for you, right? He mentioned this and said that, because a lot of these people, for example, who retire, right? This is a statement that they make, and they said, 30 years of work, and now all I get is this pension. What's the use of it? What's the use of all this work and this and that? It's 30 years, and look what I got. Nothing. So it replied, when Ayatollah Khamenei heard that, right, he felt bad. He said, why don't people think that they did 30 years of ibadat? Don't you see that you have done ibadat? And then you will ask this question. I said, how do you view work? Labor, hard work, this and that, right? This is why when we look to our sense of beauty, everything changes. Everything changes. How we look at things changes, our attitude changes. A person, a laborer, working in a farmhand, worked all day long, and he was coming back home. He was tired. After long days of work in the farm, it's a tiring job. We get tired by sitting on a desk, right? This guy is working on a farm, and he, after a long day's work, is like sweating, tired, going home. And as he's going home, because of the tiredness, which is natural, he feels a little down. He feels a little down, just wants to get home and relax, And he feels that, a little bit down, right? And there, that person, as he was walking, Rasulullah sees him. He sees him. And he says, come here. So he says, Rasulullah called me. The Muslim, Rasulullah called me. He goes up to Rasulullah. Rasulullah says, where are you coming from? He's coming from work. All day long I was working in the farm, this and that. So Rasulullah said, give me your hand. He took his hand and he kissed his hands. He kissed his hands and said, you have done Allah's worship all day long. I want to kiss these hands. You see how you work, how you view things. You see, Rasulullah knew how to make things look beautiful. And when we got Islam from them, everything became exciting. It's all exciting. It's all beautiful. And this is why it's so important how we view things. This has to come from our sense of beauty, when we look at the beauty in things. And then you see we will live a positive life, a life that is always exciting. Whenever we lose our sense of beauty is when we start becoming stressed out, depressed, unhappy, cynical, and negative. You see, all these elements are a result of us not looking at things in a beautiful way. The importance of beauty, my friends, in portraying it to the world. Ahlul Bayt were beautiful. They made Islam look beautiful. Imam Hussein made Islam look beautiful. Really. On the eve of Ashura, when Imam Hussein spoke to his companions, he spoke to his companions, and obviously they were told, and everyone was clear as to what's going to happen, so there's no doubt in anyone's mind that you're going to die here tomorrow. That's the end of that. He cleared it up, and he said, now you need to get ready for that, right? So Imam Hussein's advice to his companions, the last advice that he gave in order to get them ready for tomorrow, you know what he said? He did not say, this is your last night. I mean, what would he have said, Some things that he didn't say, that you might think he might say, right? As a religious leader, he might say these things. Imam Hussein did not say, go and pray and do your prayers. He didn't say that. That wasn't his advice to them. He did not tell them, tonight is your last night, so you do your tawbah and istighfar. He didn't say that. I mean, this is where we need to understand how and what Islam is. and truly understand the message of Islam. He didn't say that. Subhanallah. This is last night, Imam was saying they should do their tawbah and istighfar and get ready to meet Allah and this and that. Imam was not saying tomorrow you're going to die, this is your last chance, this and of course not. What do they need to do tawbah for? They're already with Hussein. You know, they're there. So then what? What's the last thing to do? What should we do to get ready? You know what Imam Hussein told them at that time? After he spoke to them and said, you're going to die tomorrow, everything, all these things, the last thing he told them before he left them is that, go make yourself look good. Clean your clothes. Tomorrow you're going to look good out there. Understand this. Subhanallah. So we're going out tomorrow. Clean your clothes. Make yourself look good. Tomorrow when we go out there, we are going to show how beautiful Islam is. And this is, my friends, the attitude of a mu'min. What it means. Ubaidullah ibn Khur al-Juhfi was a person who refused to help Imam Hussein. And he didn't want to talk to Imam Hussein, and he knew who Imam Hussein was, but he didn't want to talk to him, didn't want to have anything to do with him, and he was trying to avoid him. But he was traveling with Imam Hussein, in the same camp as Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein was also there, and he was trying to avoid Imam Hussein by not stopping at the same rest areas as they were going towards Karbala. In one of the places, Imam Hussein was told, Ubaidullah ibn Khur al-Juhfi, his camp is here. Imam Hussein said, let me go and talk to him. Let me go and speak with him. So he went there to speak to this man. Now, this Ubaidullah ibn Khur al-Juhfi has a long history, right? But he went to speak with this man, and Imam Hussein said to him that, listen, you have a bad record. You have a bad record. I mean, literally, you have a long list of things that you have done that are not good. And I'm willing to wipe it all. Clean it up. That's it. Everything will be cleaned up for you. Everything will be wiped out for you. I guarantee it. And you will go to Jannat with me. I assure you that. Come with me. Imam Hussein made an offer, really, that was really lucrative. He made this offer to Ubaidullah ibn Khur al-Juhfi, and Ubaidullah, in spite of that offer, said, I can't come with you, but if there's any consolation, I'll give you a horse and a sword that you can take it with you, and that'll help you in your fight. Right? But this fight is not my fight. Now, Ubaidullah ibn Khur al-Juhfi, after that, that was it. Imam Hussein left. The offer went with him. But then it is said that this Ubaidullah ibn Khur al-Juhfi lived his life out in the desert, away from everyone, crying. He could not stop crying. And they would ask him, what are you crying? I mean, what's this for? He said, Hussein came to my door. He made this offer to me. I could have taken that offer. And you know what? I refused it. I rejected this offer. He says, but why are you crying so much? Why are you crying so much? You didn't take the offer. Why are you crying so much? And Ubaidullah ibn Khur al-Juhfi said two things, my friends. Two things he said. The first thing he said is that, you know why I'm crying for? Because when Hussein came through that door of the tent, when he opened that up, Hussein was so beautiful. Hussein was so beautiful that I could not imagine how they must have dealt with Hussein and done something wrong to this beautiful picture that Allah has made. What would they have done to Hussein? Every time I think about it, my heart goes down. I cannot do anything. He says, what's the second reason? The second reason he gave? He says, when Hussein was sitting in my tent, there was few children that Hussein brought with him. And they were playing around Imam Hussein. He said they're playing around Hussein, and Hussein was looking at them, putting his hands on their head, just showing them love. When I saw how much Hussein loved these children, when I saw how much Hussein loved these children, I cannot bear to think how these children are living as orphans after Hussein. I can't bear to think about that. My friends, when you have someone like Hussein who was your father, it's difficult to live without Hussein. It's difficult to go without Hussein. You cannot live without Hussein like that. Maybe that's the reason when Hussein called out and said, Hal min Nasirin, when there was no one left, his son Ali Asghar started to cry in the tent. He said, Father, I don't want you to go away from me. Maybe he would have called out and said, Father, I don't want you to go away from me. Take me with you if you're going. Because you as a father, I cannot live without you. Now Ali Asghar, Imam Hussein, when he came inside the tent, he saw Ali Asghar there. He just took Ali Asghar and told the mother that I'm going out to get some water for him. Let me ask for some water before I go and fight. He took Ali Asghar out there, my friends, in order to ask for water. I mean, really, if there is a picture that you can paint, and if there's any way that you can depict this scene in anywhere else, a father coming out with a son, a 6-month-old son, who's dying of thirst, holding him in his hand and saying, give him some water. What kind of a script has been written that it has come down to this? But Hussein brought out someone that is so effective that when Asghar was seen by those people as thirsty and they looked at this 6-month-old child, everyone was looking at each other and saying, what are we doing? What are we doing? Is it right? Is it wrong? What's going on here? Then they were making excuses. No, Hussein is using this kid to get water for himself. When Hussein heard that, his heart was hurt so much. He says, Ali Akbar, did you hear what they said? They think that Hussein wants to live after you died. That Hussein wants to live after you died. Did you see what they say? My friends, Ali Asghar in the head of Imam Hussein, and Hussein is standing over there. He sees the people are not giving him water, or they are having a hard time deciding. So Imam Hussein, in order to make the decision easier, puts the child on the ground and moves backwards. And then says, okay, I leave the child here. You all are parents, you all are fathers. Come here and feed this child yourself. Feed this child yourself. And again, they did not know how to reply back. And Hussein saw that they were hesitating, so he came and picked up Ali Asghar. That was the last effort. And then Hussein, really, the way he describes Ali Asghar's thirst, how Ali Asghar was, he says, don't you see, alam tara kayfa yataladha. You know, alam tara kayfa yataladha means, don't you see. This word talazza is used when you take a fish out of water. Whenever you take a fish out of water, the fish starts to die. It needs water to survive. And Imam Hussein used this eloquent term to describe the thirst of Ali Asghar. Because when a fish starts dying, at first you see that it starts to jump up and down. This is a way of the fish telling that I'm dying, give me some water. And then after it doesn't have energy to do that, it starts to turn left and right. And then this is another way that the fish tells you that it doesn't have water. Please give me some water. And when the fish doesn't have any energy left at all, the last thing that a fish does in order to tell you that it's dying, and after this it's dead, is that the fish is now breathing in and out, opening its mouth, closing it, in order to absorb the moisture in the air. Imam Hussein, this situation of the fish is called talazza. Imam Hussein is saying that Asghar is at the point of thirst where now he's just opening his mouth and looking for any sort of moisture in the air. Any sort of moisture. This is how thirsty Asghar is. And you are not giving him water. But they wouldn't give him water. After that happened, my friends, then Umar ibn Saad made an announcement, or he called down to Harmala and said, Iqta kalam al-Husayn. He says, cut the speech of Hussein. Hussein is giving this speech, cut it off. And then Harmala, it says he took the arrow. My friends, just two things I'll mention this to you. Have you ever seen the neck of a 6-month-old child? It's very delicate. It's very soft. You don't need anything sharp or hard to break it. In fact, when you hold up a child like that, you hold it up holding its neck. You know that when you hold up the neck, it might break. It might have a whiplash. The neck is so soft. So if you want to use a weapon to kill a 6-month-old child, or to break the neck of a 6-month-old child, you will use something that is small. Even your fingers are enough. You know what a 3-pronged arrow is? A 3-pronged arrow is an arrow, a weapon that is made to go through a rough skin, like a skin of a cow or an elephant. It goes through it, not to harm it, because the animal is so big, it won't be harmed when it goes inside. Once it goes inside there, then you pull it out, and then the organs of that animal will be ripped apart. That's what it's meant for. Now imagine this. When Harmala chose the arrow to shoot at Ali Asghar, he chose a 3-pronged arrow. He chose a 3-pronged arrow. And Ali Asghar's neck is a 6-month-old neck. My friends, when the arrow came and hit Ali Asghar's neck, there was no neck left. There was no neck left. When Hussein saw Ali Asghar's neck is finished, he looked at that. All he could say, did you hear that? All he could say was that, Allah, it is only the fact that I know that you are watching this, that I'm able to bear this. Only because you are watching this. I know you're watching this, and there will be justice one day. Hussein goes back. My friend, Hussein goes back, shows Ali Asghar to the mother. The mother cries over Ali Asghar. Hussein now puts Ali Asghar in the grave. You know why? Very softly, to make sure that the head doesn't come off. He puts it together in that way. He puts it together in that way. Puts Ali Asghar in the ground. But you know what? I will tell you this one thing. When they came to get the heads the next day, they found Ali Asghar also. You know, they found Ali Asghar also. When they cut the head, they didn't need to cut the head from Ali Asghar. It was already cut off by the thing. When they put it on the arrow, when they put it on the spear, so that they can raise it up, that head was so light, they didn't even notice that it fell off the spear. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. يا محمود بحق محمد، يا الله بحق علي، يا فاطر السماوات بحق فاطمة، يا محسن بحق حسن، يا قديم الأحسان بحق Hussein. Allah, give us the tawfiq to be on the right path. Give us the wisdom to understand your guidance. Allah, increase the love of Ahlul Bayt in our hearts and the hearts of our children. Keep our feet firm on the path of Islam. Give us the strength in our arms to hold up the flag of Abbas. Allah, we ask you that all the mu'mineen who are here, who are suffering, and throughout the world, who are in hardships and difficulties because of their faith, because of their love of Ahlul Bayt, Allah, we ask you to give them relief and to make them better off. Allah, we ask you to hasten the reappearance of our Imam. We ask you to make us his helper when he comes. Wa akhiru da'wana an alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Matam Hussein. Ya Hussein.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.
When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." Go back, O mother, they've killed my brother. Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." When the night fell on that desert camping, a lonely voice was heard in moaning. Then she looked and saw someone approaching, one who would join her in her grieving. She had come to see her progeny and what had become of their destiny. But she could not let her two go closer. She did not want her to really see. I do not want you to go further. You will only see pain and horror. Body with no head, 72 dead. Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." Go back, O mother, they've killed my brother. Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." Before you were born, my loving daughter, I was shown this by your grandfather. He told me what was to befall my son and how it would be a tragedy. My brother told me of this day as well. I knew what was to become of me. But even then I could not stand witness when I said, "Shimmer, walking to him." My mother, you cannot bear to see what they did to his broken body. Arrow in his heart, liver ripped apart. Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." Go back, O mother, they've killed my brother. Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." Oh mother, when he stood and addressed the people who had now turned on him, he cried and shed the bitterest of tears. I never saw such a thing from him. My brother, who you define what is brave, how can I stand to see you crying? I cry not for what shall happen to us, but that the cause of their doom is me. Even in this final moment, he could only think of their torment. How could they kill him? He came to help them. Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." Go back, O mother, they've killed my brother. Zainab said, "Do not look, Ya Zahra." Then her mother's eyes began to wander. Another body she had to see. A new grave had been dug in the morning. A young infant there was buried. There lay young Qasim, son of Hassan, and next to him the older Ali. But it was Ali Asghar she came to, the one they killed in his father's arms. What was the sin of this poor child? When the arrow hit, he had wailed. He cried, I'm thirsty, had they no mercy? Zainab said, do not look, Ya Zahra. When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, do not look, Ya Zahra. When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, do not look, Ya Zahra. Go back, oh mother, they've killed my brother. Zainab said, do not. Another had now joined them in their pain. She had also lost her only sons. Fatima held her hand and led the way to the river she wanted to go. Zainab knew what for, they had gone searching. Her noble brother they could not see. His arms would show and lead them to him, where they lay the rest of his body. He went to bring back for us the water. Then we heard a shout, oh my brother. We saw the flag fell, that was the farewell. Zainab said, do not look, Ya Zahra. When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, do not look, Ya Zahra. When Fatima came to Karbala, Zainab said, do not look, Ya Zahra. Go back, oh mother, they've killed my brother. Zainab said, do not look, Ya Zahra. Go back, oh mother, they've killed my brother. Zainab said, do not look, Ya Zahra.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ali, Ya Hussein, 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 Ali.
ابھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے.
ابھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے. ابھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے. ابھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے.
میرے بابا سے ملا دو میں دعائیں دوں گی. سسکیاں لے کے وہ کہتی تھی مسلمانوں سے.
ابھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے. ابھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے.
میرے بابا سے ملا دو میں دعائیں دوں گی. سسکیاں لے کے وہ کہتی تھی مسلمانوں سے.
ابھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں جواب ہائے زندانوں سے. ابھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے. ابھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں بول سجاد سکینہ یہ مقدر تیرا، بول سجاد سکینہ یہ مقدر تیرا، بے وطن تجھ کو لیے پھر کہوں بازاروں میں، الہو آج بھی جاری ہے تیرے کانوں سے، اب بھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے، اب بھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے، جا کے مقتل میں پکاری یہ سکینہ رو کر، جا کے مقتل میں پکاری یہ سکینہ رو کر، یا قاسم میرے اکبر تم کہاں ہو سارے، میرے بابا کو بچا لو آ کے شیطانوں سے، اب بھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے، اب بھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے، اب بھی آتی، تھوڑا آہستہ کریں ماتوں میں، کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے، لب دریا سے علمدار کی آئی ہے صدا، لب دریا سے علمدار کی آئی ہے صدا، اے سکینہ تس شرمندہ ہے چاچا تیرا، پانی پہنچا نہ سکا ہے کٹے شانوں سے، اب بھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے، اب بھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے، اب بھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے، آتشانے بیک وقت فضا میں گونجی، آتشانے بیک وقت فضا میں گونجی، ثانیے صحرا کی خطبہ کو دبانے کے لیے، شور برپا کیا دربار میں اذانوں سے، اب بھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے، اب بھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے، اب بھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے، بول سجاد سکینہ یہ مقدر تیرا، بول سجاد سکینہ یہ مقدر تیرا، بے وطن تجھ کو لیے پھرتا ہوں بازاروں میں، الہو آج بھی جاری ہے تیرے کانوں سے، اب بھی آتی ہے سکینہ کی صدائیں لوگوں ہائے زندانوں سے،
صلو علی محمد و محمد. كل قطرة دم بشرياني تهتف باسمك يا حسين، روح شلون تظل بجسم منذكر جسمك يا حسين، كل قطرة دم بشرياني تهتف باسمك يا حسين، روح شلون تظل بجسم منذكر جسمك يا حسين، جسمي مو أغلى من جسمك، دمي مو أغلى من دمك، جسمي مو أغلى من جسمك، دمي مو أغلى من دمك. يحل عايش على رموشي، حلم كل لحظة يتجسم، سحير شوقك يا ابو الاكبر يسايرني بخلايا الدم، يسايرني بخلايا الدم. جسد وتمثل كوكب، عسد لجروحك اتوهم، اشوف ان كل جريح منك ثغر للدنيا يتبسم. عجيبة ذبيح ضامي، عجيبة ذبيح ضامي، عجيبة ذبيح ضامي. يا لين العين لك زمزم، والعجب تنزف جروحك، وانت الكل جريح بلسم. دنيانا المشغوفة بحبك بيك تغنت يا حسين، مو بس العابس جنيتك كلها انجنت يا حسين. دنيانا المشغوفة بحبك بيك تغنت يا حسين، مو بس العابس جنيتك كلها انجنت يا حسين. كلها تلهج غيدت باسمك، دمي مو أغلى من دمك، جسمي مو أغلى من جسمك، دمي مو أغلى من دمك. كل قطر الدم بشرياني تهتف باسمك يا روحي شلون تظل بجسمي منذكر جسمك يا. كل قطر الدم بشرياني تهتف باسمك، روحي شلون تظل بجسمي منذكر جسمك. جسمي مو أغلى من جسمك، دمي مو أغلى من دمك، جسمي مو أغلى من جسمك، دمي مو أغلى من دمك. لو ان عابس وقف بالطف يسيح الشوق جنني، ملايين اصبحت مثله لو انك عنها تسألني، لو انك عنها تسألني. الشاقة وكل فريد منهم غدا بعابس يذكرني، وكل من انشد يجاوب يقول حسين هيمني، يقول حسين هيمني. وانا بعالم لهيب بالطف سيوف الهم يبارني، عجيبتي وذرد جسمك ولا مثلك يوذرني. شبحت جروحك بعيوني والدم يجري يا حسين، والحافر ما هشم صدرك حشم صدري، وانا رتم صرع يمك. دمي مو اغلى من دمك، جسمي مو اغلى من جسمك، دمي مو اغلى من دمك. كل قطر الدم بشرياني تهتف باسمك يا حسين، روح شلون تظل بجسمي منذكر جسمك. كل قطر الدم بشرياني تهتف باسمك، روحي شلون تظل بجسمي منذكر جسمك. جسمي مو اغلى من جسمك، دمي مو اغلى من دمك، جسمي مو اغلى من جسمك، دمي مو اغلى من دمك. الشاعر جاب الكاظمي.
جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر شیخ کہتے تھے رو رو کے یہ مقتل کی زمین پر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر گھوڑے سے گرا ہے میرا ہم شکل پیغمبر گھوڑے سے گرا ہے میرا ہم شکل پیغمبر اب کوئی دلاسا نہیں دیتا مجھے آ کر کہتے تھے رو رو کہ یہ مقتل کی زمین پر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر باقی نہیں اب کوئی ضعیفی کا سہارا باقی نہیں اب کوئی ضعیفی کا سہارا کہاں جائے گا لال پدر ٹھوکر کھاتا دیتے رہو آواز پر آواز برابر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی یہ غم یہ ضعیفی یہ ستم گاروں کی بستی یہ غم یہ ضعیفی یہ ستم گاروں کی بستی یہ خون میں ڈوبی ہوئی خونخاروں کی بستی ہر سمت نگاہوں میں قیامت چاہے منظر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر ایک حشر کا منظر ہے میرے لال نظر میں ایک حشر کا منظر ہے میرے لال نظر میں روتی ہے پھوپھی جان قیامت سی ہے گھر میں یہ ڈر ہے کہ آ جائے نا مقتل میں کھلے سر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر اے جان پدر علی اکبر علی اکبر سے
السلام علیکہ یا رسول اللہ، السلام علیکہ یا حبیب اللہ یا خیر خلق اللہ، السلام علیکہ یا نبی اللہ ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ، السلام علیکہ یا ابا عبداللہ وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى again. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا مظهر الإيمان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم جميع المعصومين ورحمة الله وبركاته.